Member for Rangway St. Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute on this bill.
Save us. Save us.
Listening to my learned friend from Diego Martin, Northeast, I try to take a note of the actual statement he made. He said, if we were short on time, fancy him making that statement. Short on time. Short on intellectual capacity. And short on ideas, etc., etc. Mr. Speaker, I want to put a few facts on the record. In 2019, this recommendation was made by FATF, 2019. We are in 2025. Elections was held on April 28, 2025. By that date, the other side had not done anything. Yet, he comes here to complain that we who have now assumed office and faced with this chaos are attempting to fix the problem when for 6 years they have not done anything to fix this problem. And comes here and brazenly talks about if he was short on ideas, short on time, and short on intellectual capacity. Mr. Speaker, well, I am not talking about other aspects of, I'm being provoked here to say certain things, but I can't say it.
Don't talk about things you can't talk about.
About the height. But 6 years, we assumed office, and in a matter of 3 months, we knew we had international obligations. We took the bull by its horns, and we presented a bill to this House. Mr. Speaker, I heard the Honourable Attorney General.
Isn't that bright, man?
We talked about, we heard from the citizenry, we heard from people who practice cryptocurrency, and they came to us and say, let us talk about this bill. And we opened the doors and we heard from everybody. We heard from the governor of the central bank, we heard from the bureaucrats, we heard from interested groups, and we produced a document with amendments to cater to everybody. We have been criticized for that. In 3 months, we did all of that. You took 6 years, you didn't do anything. No, you know, it's hard. So when you hear what the Honourable Member for Diego Martin Northeast says in isolation, you say, but wait, we weren't doing anything? What did you do? But Mr. Speaker, I'll draw something else to your attention. You see, when these things are said, it conveys to the national population something that is wrong. I wish to further develop on the point raised by the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance read into the record excerpts of a Hansard in which a UNC opposition speaker was asking the Minister of Finance then about cryptocurrency, and he read part of the story. I will read the other part, Mr. Speaker. This is what the member for Diego Martin Northeast had to say on that date, and that date was the 20th of the 11th, 2023. This is what he said. Cryptocurrency is also the currency of use of drug traffickers, money launderers, and persons who operate on the dark web. And therefore, I found this question astonishing, but there is more. And this is the more he said. Let me highlight some failures in the cryptocurrency sector. He is highlighting failures in the cryptocurrency sector, and cryptocurrency is being conducted in Trinidad and Tobago. So that is happening, and he is highlighting, and this is what he highlights. In May of 2022, Terra USD, a large cryptocurrency exchange, collapsed, causing a loss to investors of US $45 billion. He knows that. He is being asked in 2023, are you regulating cryptocurrency? He shuns it off. But he's talking in 2022, $45 billion of loss. In June of 2022, Three Arrows Capital was forced to be liquidated, causing a loss of $3 billion to investors. That's another company, $3 billion to investors. In November 2022, FX trading, quite famous, collapsed, causing a loss to investors up to $50 billion. Now, all of these things were either serious flaws in the algorithm or fraud as a cause occurred with FX trading. And he went on to quote two other companies in which losses were sustained by members of the general public. Yet, in 2023, faced with a question by a conscientious UNC senator asking, what are we doing about cryptocurrency? In the context of FATF telling you in 2019, fix the problem. In 2023, he dismisses it altogether, comes here today and criticizes our efforts to fix this problem. That has to be wrong. And they're talking in this sanctimonious manner. This sanctimonious manner that the amendments we brought are right, is too much. My learned friend saying it ain't going far enough. What did you do? You did nothing. You abandoned Trinidad and Tobago to the virtual space where fraudsters were committing all sorts of problems, and he knew about it.
And they ran.
He knew about it. He talked about it and absolutely did nothing. Mr. Speaker, not only that, you know. Not only that, you know, Mr. Speaker. We, despite coming off the FATF grey list in 2021, we are still on 2 blacklists on the international community. Mr. Speaker, we are on the EU blacklist for non-cooperative jurisdiction for tax purposes, a blacklist. We were blacklisted due to receiving a non-compliant rating from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development Global Forum, exchange of information requests, and automatic exchange of information. Mr. Speaker, we are also on the European Union list of high-risk third countries with strategic AML and CFT deficiencies. When did this blacklist come about? This blacklist, Mr. Speaker, came about in 2018. We are in 2025, and we are still being saddled with these 2 blacklists. What is the consequences? If our citizens travel to the European Union, any country, we have difficulty in using our credit cards. A bank who is doing an international transaction with members of the European Union countries, Mr. Speaker, you have a ton load of documents, you're faced with scrutiny, you're faced with all sorts of impediments because our country is on the EU blacklist. What have they done about it? 2018 to 2015, I want to highlight again, 7 years have passed and nothing was done. But I want to tell you something, Mr. Speaker. We are here April 2025 and we will fix it. Other countries in the Caribbean.
Nothing from nothing.
Mr. Speaker, I want to present certain facts to you. The Cayman Islands entered the EU blacklist in February 2020. The Cayman Islands, February 2020. We entered in 2018. Right? Cayman Islands was removed from the EU blacklist in 2023. They took them 3 years and they got off the blacklist. We are there for 7 years and we still on that blacklist. And you're coming here to criticize our efforts in a short space of time when we have taken the proverbial bull by the horns, brought legislation, and did all that we have to do to get back and fix this country financial system. And you come here and you criticized it in all earnestness. Can you watch us and tell us in all earnestness that we are failing? Look at yourselves in the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah.
7 months, what they haven't done in 7 years. Thank you, Minister Sturge. I love that comment. We are doing in 7 months what they have not done in 7 years. And we put that on the record. What are the consequences on being on that EU blacklist, Mr. Speaker? In the recent CFATF meeting held, the Premier of Cayman Islands, the Honourable Eubanks, told that meeting, he said, we faced, quoted him, so many problems. We lost hundreds of millions of dollars investments. We had to fix the problem. They took 3 years and fixed the problem. The Honourable Dale Marshall, the Attorney General of Barbados, similarly said, in Barbados, when they were put on the blacklist for the EU, they lost millions, hundreds of millions of dollars investment and had to fix it. We are here sitting, and the Honourable Attorney General said, you know what the answer? After 7 years, Mr. Speaker, we're asking for more time. They didn't take the legislation and come to Parliament. They kept asking for more time. They were being told by the regulatory authorities, no more time, you're still begging for time. Mr. Speaker, Barbados entered the EU blacklist in 2023 and was removed in August 2025. 2 years they took to come off the blacklist. I want to emphasize, we are here 7 years. 7 years. Mr. Speaker, they were here for 7 years, sorry. They are here for 7 months, right? As we progress, Mr. Speaker, towards our March 2026 deadline, we didn't sit here, Mr. Speaker. This is what we did. We submitted our technical compliance questionnaire on August 15, 2025. We submitted it. They didn't do it. We submitted it.
Yes.
We did our oral presentation on Trinidad and Tobago money laundering and terrorism financing risk and context on September 2nd, 2025. We provided our comments on the assessment team scoping note on October 10th, 2025. We submitted further comments on the first draft of the technical compliance annex on November 17th, 2025. That's this week, Mr. Speaker. But rest assured, on November 24th next week, we will fulfill our deadline to meet our effectiveness information. We'll be going to Barbados. We'll be meeting with CFATF to fulfill that requirement. The assessment will continue with our second draft technical compliance annex review and commence in January 2026. And our on-site examination is scheduled for 2 weeks in March 2026. Mr. Speaker, we are not sitting down. We are moving, Mr. Speaker. And because, Mr. Speaker, because of that movement, we are telling you, Mr. Speaker, and we are giving this country a commitment that we will be removed from that EU blacklist, OECD blacklist, by March 2026 if we continue at this pace, Mr. Speaker. So please, Mr. Speaker, we are telling you, do not come to this Parliament and insinuate that we are not doing anything. I want them to look in the mirror and ask yourself, and I want to repeat, after 7 years, you have put the country in this position, and we, in the short space of time, we are ready to do it. Now, Mr. Speaker, the importance of the cryptocurrency world. This was an analysis done by Chain Analysis, a recognized world consultant in the cryptocurrency world. And the kind of business that we do in Trinidad, Mr. Speaker, Trinidad and Tobago received $1.6 billion worth of cryptocurrency in a year. Now, this is US dollars. We are talking about, multiply by 7, this is close to $10 billion of cryptocurrencies flowing through Trinidad and Tobago. So it needs to be regulated. We need to regulate our cryptocurrency. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, out of that, there's a section titled Illicit Cryptocurrency Activity in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, this was done over the last year or so, and the figures are astounding. As this information is available to us, is available to me, was it not available to the other side? The Minister of Finance spoke about the fraud being committed in the United States. He has this analysis about the amount of cryptocurrency flowing through this country. He has the analysis of the illicit cryptocurrency flowing through this country, yet nothing was done. Why nothing was done? And you come here criticizing our bill, criticizing the amendments to our bill, criticizing the consultations that we have done, criticizing the regulatory sandbox, saying that it's not far enough. We can't talk about that, according to EG. We can't talk about the regulatory sandbox, although my learned friend from Diego Martin push his hand inside and pull it out quickly. But if you go into the amendments that we have produced, Mr. Speaker, we have a licensing arrangement. He's saying that we do not know how much VASP is operating in Trinidad. Of course we don't know. But we are telling you that once we pass this legislation, you cannot practice here and you cannot do that business here until you come to us and you regulate yourself. That is the purpose of the regulation. If we knew how much it was. We don't. But I could tell you that $1.6 billion worth of cryptocurrency passed through this country over the last year. This is the analysis done. You didn't do anything about it. You knew the fraud being committed in that virtual space. You knew companies were collapsing all over the world. You did nothing. And you come in here to tell us that the regulatory sandbox are enough. You know how much VASP operated. You know how much VASP operated? The Ministry of Finance knew how much VASP was operating in Trinidad. The central bank knew. Nobody knows. We could perhaps identify 3 or 4 on the face of it. It could be 100. And all this illicit And Mr. Speaker, the illicit activity, I could share this with my friend from Diego Martin West if he wants. It's a lot of things happening on the dark web. It's matters where, you have child pornography, you have child abuse material, dark net market, fraud shop, illicit actors, malware, online pharmacy, ransomware, sanction activity, sanction jurisdiction, scam, stolen funds, terrorist financing. All of this is going on in the country. The consultant has produced a report. You did nothing about it. You did nothing about it. You know we were facing a deadline in February 2026. You knew we were facing an assessment March 2026, a few months away. Nothing. And this is what is going on in the country. And you come to criticize a bill that we brought here today. You know, sometimes, Mr. Speaker, I wish I had the words to describe that sort of arrogance. It's unparliamentary to say. Mr. Speaker, it may have been identified, but certainly when we put this activity in a regulated environment, Mr. Speaker, we are bringing some order to the chaos. We are restoring some order to the chaos. We are placing ourselves in the committee of nations. We have 200 nations in the world, Mr. Speaker, who have subscribed to the FATF. And all of these countries in the world, they are saying, yes, we agree to all of these regulations to prevent money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation of arms. 200 countries. The CFATF is comprised of 25 countries in the Caribbean, and we have included Haiti, they have included Venezuela, and in 2024 we have included United States of America. So all of these countries are subscribed to the CFATF. And we are saying that we have to fulfill our international obligations. We have to pass legislation, because CFATF said in 2018, pass legislation dealing with virtual assets and VASPs. And we have taken the step, Mr. Speaker, to do it. Now, regulatory approach of virtual assets differ widely from country to country, and these frameworks continue to evolve. This inconsistency exposes users and businesses to legal vulnerabilities, particularly in jurisdictions where regulation remains unclear or restrictive. The 2025 FATF update, Mr. Speaker, also notes that unregistered VASPs and certain virtual asset wallets have been used in complex international networks designed to launder illicit funds. And as I've just explained, Mr. Speaker, what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago and throughout the Caribbean, illicit cryptocurrency is being used, sometimes small, sometimes large. I heard my friend from Diego Martin was saying it's minimal, and therefore it's a fiat currency that you have to focus on. That is where the bulk of it is happening. Maybe it's happening there, but we are faced with it happening here. It is happening in the virtual space, and we have to deal with it. Second, Mr. Speaker, from a terrorism financing standpoint, the FATF confirms that terrorist organizations continue to use virtual assets to raise and transfer funds across borders. This has been happening over the last 7 years. Whilst this occurs less frequently than through traditional channels, it nevertheless represents a serious and evolving threat. Thirdly, cybersecurity threats remain a major concern. Exchanges, wallets, and decentralized finance platforms a frequent target for cyber criminals. The FATF update reports continued criminal activity involving virtual assets, including one major theft in 2025, valued approximately $1.46 billion US. Beyond this large-scale incidents, the sector also faces ongoing threats from phishing schemes, malware, and other cyber attacks. Fourthly, the FATF update highlights continuing links between virtual assets and gambling and gaming platforms. Mr. Speaker, we know what gambling is causing in Trinidad and Tobago, the illegal gambling. We have given the country notice that we are bringing legislation to bring some improvement to that sector, to regulate that sector, and maybe to increase the age whereby gamblers can take that chance to go there and throw their first bet, Mr. Speaker, because what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago is a crippling effect with regard to that. And they highlight, Mr. Speaker, virtual assets of gambling and gaming platforms. The business models and delivery channels used within these sectors create meaningful money laundering and terrorist financial risk, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and we have touched on it shortly, but there's a growing problem of fraud and scams. The FATF notes a significant rise in illicit activity, estimating some $1 billion US in illegal online transactions in 2024, 51 billion in 2024 alone. Criminals exploit anonymity and weak oversight to operate Ponzi schemes, impersonation scams, and other deceitful schemes within the virtual asset space. Mr. Speaker, we have gone through the reasons why. I know I can't touch in detail on the amendments, but since you allowed Digo Martin West to put his hand into the fire, I don't know if there was an overruling of your previous ruling, Mr. Speaker, and I don't know if you had relaxed that rule. You haven't, Mr. Speaker, but I did see Digo Martin. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you heard Digo Martin West put in his hand there. No, I will just make a few points about it, Mr. Speaker. The new bill, my Lord, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with all your rulings, including against me, 53-1.
Around St. Joseph, let's save
Mr.
that for
Speaker,
the
53
proceedings. That which we cannot talk about now, we'll talk about later.
Mr. Speaker, I will just end by saying it is essential that Trinidad and Tobago avoids being rated non-compliant on any FATF recommendation and demonstrates high or substantial effectiveness across the majority of the FATF immediate outcomes. Achieving this will position Trinidad and Tobago for removal from the EU list of high-risk countries with strategic AML and CFT deficiencies. Passage of this bill before us will ensure that we do not obtain a non-compliant rating for recommendation 15 and will further ensure that we strengthen our financial integrity. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to make this contribution.